I know you guys have grown up in the digital age, but like I remember when I have to write everything out, and, you know, or I don't have to talk to anybody anymore. It's just text. How was the concert last night?
It was incredible.
It was really, really good.
The guy was incredible.
I heard they played with a big band?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, well, maybe 8 or, no, not even.
Like a nonette?
No, I think
There's
it was
like
actually
5 saxes,
12.
4 trombones, and like 5 trumpets, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like a big band.
Yeah, it was a.
And there was like a bass player too.
Really? What did he do?
He actually didn't do that much.
Every now and then he'd stop playing. He'd stop playing bass, and they'd trade on.
Yeah.
Mike and.
Who's the bass player? You know?
I don't know.
He went here. He's got circle glasses. He was like really into it.
Yeah.
I wonder who that was.
He did like a lot of dancing and stuff.
Really? I don't know who that is.
I'm sure you know him if you saw him.
Might be one of my students.
Yeah, he probably is. He's
Yeah, the organ thing is pretty powerful though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was incredible. He did like this thing where he like, I don't know what he did, but he kind of like played. He like, there was like a keyboard here, and he went like that. So I guess he played the same thing on both keyboards quickly.
Oh really? Crazy. And Peter Bernstein, man, doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, the guitar was incredible.
When Jim Hall was teaching at the New School many years ago, he had me sub for him whenever he couldn't teach. And Peter was a freshman in the class. Larry Goldings, Bill Stewart. I mean, Bill Stewart went here, but it's like, yeah, those cats grew up and they're like mega.
That's crazy.
Mega stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know. And I met a lot of guys that graduated. You know, I think the drummer went to school here too.
Joe Farnsworth?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Kurt Rosenwig.
Yeah, there were a lot of good players that passed through these halls.
Yeah. I have a question. What does the floor pedal do for an organ?
They're bass.
Yeah, they're bass notes.
But doesn't he play them with his left hand too?
You can play with his left hand, but you can play the really good ones playing with their feet.
And the other pedal is like crescendo, I think.
Yeah, there's a volume.
Because I don't think the touch makes a difference on the organ.
No.
Yeah, so everything's the same unless you do the loud pedal.
So did they like just double up like in octaves or something maybe? The left hands.
Well, I don't know I'm not too sure about that. Like I play with guys that have like portable organs.
Yeah.
And they don't, of course, they don't play the bass lines when I'm playing, but it's pretty incredible.
Oh, yeah.
You ever see Larry Goldings? Check him out, man. He has a thing. He does Han Gruber, and he does like, he's a really funny guy. He played piano with Jim for a while. Just hysterical shit, man. When we were on the road, he looked like Woody Allen, and he would do Woody Allen impersonations, and people would go crazy. They're like, "Oh man, Woody Allen!" I'm like, Just push.
Alright. Sorry, I was polling. The handle said pull to me. Alright.
Yeah, we don't have. Hi, Helen.
I'll grab a
Nice and
symbol. I can't
cool
grab
in
a
here.
Grab a symbol.
I'll grab a symbol.
Yeah, it's cold. We were in a room that had no air conditioning.
Oh
We were
God.
boiling.
Oh yeah.
And then we were in 137, which was warm. Then Dave Dempsey says, "Why don't you guys go in the recording studio?" And I didn't realize it was a freezer.
Oh, that's all right.
Everyone, this is Helen Sung.
Hi, nice to meet
Hello.
you guys. So,
I'm putting on my jacket because I'm getting cold now.
I think John is gonna fill in for your job.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't put it together. He was leaving at 3:30.
No, that's
He
okay.
has a gig.
All right.
Yeah, he's gonna pay us all. I'm gonna make. We all need to get a cut. So guys, what do you want to play? What do you think?
The night house.
Yeah, the night.
Tonight? Okay.
Might have a dozen nights.
Yeah. So remember the changes that
Yeah,
put
the
in there,
B
that
minor.
2-5?
Yeah.
I mean, that 1-6-2-5?
Can I borrow your iPad again, Beth? Pretty please.
Something happened where it's like,
There's like a real logistical test.
well, I think it's gone.
You're gonna have to use your ears.
I guess so.
Oh, you have the non-real app?
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, that might be. I don't know what happened to it.
It was in the ends. I don't know if I know.
It was in the ends? Oh, okay. That makes sense. I wasn't looking in the ends. Here you go.
Muchas gracias.
And that gets 1,009. We've been doing it in Latin. The whole thing in Latin.
Wait, we're gonna do it where me and guitar don't come in for
What's that?
me and guitar don't come in for like the first part, right?
Right.
Oh, these all tunes all start running together after a while, I
They
think.
sure do.
Okay, well, gosh, I mean, you guys have two pros playing with you guys, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts about that performance. You know, I want to hear something, one positive first, and something that you felt maybe could be better. So let's start.
I mean, the biggest thing I noticed was the drummer was really, John was interactive with the way each of us was soloing, and I kind of like heard my thoughts echoed back, and I heard the same in James's solo and also in Nick's solo. There's a positive that I really like. And the negative, let's see. I mean, when we went back to the head out, we like kind of vamped a little. Like that could have been a little little tighter.
But that wasn't planned,
Yeah, it
just
was.
happened.
Yeah.
Actually, I like it when stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why, you know, when I talk to you guys about listening, that's so important, because stuff like that can happen, and you've gotta be amenable to going with it, you know, and making music out of it.
Yeah.
Cause people don't know, people aren't gonna always know, oh wow, they missed it, they missed playing the head again, you're not gonna say, oh, well, that was a pretty neat band,
Yeah.
you know? So you can turn things in, you can turn it around. But go ahead, I'm sorry. James?
Enjoy the vibe it was giving off. You know, I was able to feed off of John on the drums. Like, it was pretty good. I liked the way it sounded. And it helped me, you know, improve my solo and make it more.
Yeah, I heard you playing some stuff I haven't heard you play at all.
Feeding off of it, yeah, I don't know. I was kind of, on my part, I messed up the melody a couple times. I like cut myself up just because I didn't have it down with my fingers, so slipped up.
Well, that happens.
Alright.
I also really liked the way that John played.
You're hired, John, you got your gig, man.
It was like,
Beck's gig range, and I don't even know where he went, but it led
Well, you made a mistake, you made a mistake.
it was like the vibe that it gave off was really, it was really good.
And with one cymbal, no ride, I mean, no,
Yeah,
I had to
yeah.
notice.
Leon Barger today.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And I feel like I screwed up parts of my solo really badly.
What does that mean?
Like, I ran out of ideas in certain
Well, that's
spots.
not screwing up your solo, that's running out of ideas, that's all.
Gotta search for more.
You know, sometimes when that happens, it's okay to just let there be some silence. I think I'm a pianist, and I think one thing we're guilty of, since we don't need to physically breathe to play our instrument, is guilty of run-on sentences. Like, I was really fortunate to have contact with Ray Brown when I was a student, and I would send him little tapes that I had made of my, and he'd say it over, he'd tell it to me in person. Why so many notes, Helen? He'd write, not bad. Why so many notes? So it's more about, I would say, because sometimes there just needs to be space, and sometimes to stick with something a little longer. Like, what's that idea you just finished with? What can you do with it more, you know? Sonny Rollins is a master of that. Yeah, if there was anything that I would say about that performance, I feel like you all are very capable and very, what grade are y'all in?
I'm going to 12th grade.
I'm gonna be a freshman in college.
I'm gonna be a junior.
In high school?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like you guys have had some experience, you know, I hear good voicings, I hear jazz language, which is great. I guess there's an element of just not fully being in the moment with a sense of discovery. You know, it felt like this is how we play a jazz tune. We're gonna play the head, horn player gets a solo, then the guitarist, and then pianist, and maybe bass if we're feeling generous, and then we're gonna play the head out. You know, it just feels like a script, like a lot of times. And then to me, I felt like you guys were kind of like, oh, I did my part, and now I'm gonna sit here and wait for everybody else to finish, you know. So just a sense of just not, for me, when I listen to jazz, I said to this ensemble, maybe a couple of ensembles ago, I forget, I want a sense of like danger, like what are they gonna do next? And if you're not feeling that in your own performance, I guarantee you the audience is not feeling that. Because to me that means taking risks. That's like, I like it when things get a little tangled up, like, oh, how are we gonna get out of this? You know, I used to feel bad when that happened, or people would make me feel bad, but it's not like you wanna mess things up. But if sometimes in life things don't go as planned, or somebody says, I wanna take this tune out sooner, or I wanna, so you've got to be present, because then if you're not present, you can't adjust. You're gonna be like 2 steps behind, you know what I mean? So, and also there are things you can do, like I think you did a little bit, you started playing a guide tone line somewhere. Do you remember what that was? That like accompanying, was that the head, or I forget.
That was during that little vamp section.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that was nice. But it's like during somebody's, like, one of my pet peeves is horn players who solo, and then during the rhythm section, so they just go off the side of the stage and they chat and stuff. It's like, horn players should think of things you can add to it, especially in is this a small ensemble, it's just a?
Yes, this is it.
Yeah, you know, there's more stuff for you to do, and not like you overdo it, but it's like, what can you be contributing, if not just your energy and your engagement with what's going on? Does that make sense?
Yes.
And there's something about the piano I forgot what I was saying. So can we kind of maybe do that same tune again? But I'm gonna give you a kind of a format to. I know we don't have a lot of time, right? So.
Well, it's the last group, so honestly,
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, we can go a few.
Okay. So let's start the melody like
He's all right with
this.
Steve.
Let's start with you playing the melody with just the drummer. And then the second A, you can, why don't you join with some kind of counter line, but no comping, counter line. And then the bridge, you can play chords behind what's going on. And then finally, oh, thank God the bass is back. The bass will come back. Is it AABA? Or no, it's AAB. Okay.
Yeah.
It's 16 bars.
Yeah, it's just it's a lot.
Why don't Steve maybe come in, maybe, I don't know, the second half of the B maybe?
Okay.
I don't know, that this might be totally lame, but I just want you guys to be like kind of put in uncomfortable, like, oh, this is weird. So, okay. Can we go a little bit faster too?
Sure.
1, 2, 3. Can I just try it on the piano? So let's do that again. And what I mean, I'll show you what I mean, like answering. Okay. Again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
I could definitely try. Thank you.
All right, let's go. That was so good, I didn't even feel like I needed to come
Checking it
in.
out. I love it. Okay, what's your name again?
Nick.
I can't hear you, Nick. You gotta. I want you to.
Yeah, you can play harder.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try one more time. This time. I want Nick to play the melody, okay? And you accompany him, and
Like correlate or
okay, so drums will come in on the second half. So the first two A's, Nick, sorry, will play the melody. You accompany and you play little comments behind him.
And can I do the comments like as soon as it starts, or do I?
Yeah, let's do it as soon as it starts. Okay. One, actually, can you set it up? Set it up, and you set it up as okay. And you guys communicate when you want to start. Okay, you guys are not together. I think you're like have to be behind him. Okay, just be very clear for you.
So,
Can you do-
so I think, yeah, I think the rhythm you're going for isn't working. Think more about the boom, like the.
Yeah.
It feels-
Yeah, that's right. That's good. You're fine. Take the melody here. Okay, one last thing and then we'll let y'all go. Okay, I want you to play the melody this time. I want you to play the bass notes, like a bass figure for him, okay? And then you can comp behind them. No drums.
No bass.
No bass, no drum, no drum, no bass. No coming on the fringe again.
Bing, bong, bing, ding, bong, ding, yeah,
Yeah.
but half notes are good, and then do the little boom every now and then.
Okay, why don't you set it up for him? Again. I need more bass notes. Especially here when it goes. Ooh, I can't wait to get out of that to the melody.
Did you want me to
Huh?
come in for the?
Yeah, that was fine.
So fun.
That was fine. So just different ways you can play something. put you in like another musician's shoes, but just as like, but I could tell you guys were totally focused on what y'all were doing till then. So I want that type of focus when you're playing, because you gotta have it. Otherwise, if you don't have that, the audience is not gonna be there with you. Because when we play this music, we play it because we love it, and we want them to feel the love that we have for this music. So, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Helen. A lot of great stuff. A lot of great stuff, yeah. Yeah, definitely, man, I'm gonna make you play some bass lines. I'm gonna go have a cup of coffee.
Love it. Love it.
No, but actually, I think, that's something that's really great, because you get a handle on more of what it feels like to really think about the beat and this kind of thing,
And good note choices too, It's just
Yeah, great, that's great.
all right,
Very
I'll
cool.
probably
Thank
see
you,
y'all
Helen.
tomorrow. Nice to see you,
Very
Steve. Yes. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
So once you all put your instruments away, make sure that piano goes in the closet. Just kidding. Head into 101 for the sit-in with Rosanna. He's
Well, so that's the quarter note right there.
Oh, it's quarter note. You're right. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I got the verse.
signals, like Spain. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. For now, yeah, let's do that. And
yeah.
and yeah, let's try that.
Okay.
Do you think you can go from where does everyone know where that is?
You flip ours.
Yeah.
Cool. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. No time.
Oh yeah.
Let's try it again, but just make sure everyone is watching Mason because he's going to lead that.
All right, got it.
Ready?
Let's go.
It's from the same spot.
Wait, I'm sorry. Where are we starting?
The last 4 bars.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Want me to count?
Yeah, you can.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's where it's not necessarily stop, but he's good. See if we can do this. Try to bring that a little bit more out of time. Because it sounds like sometimes like you're doing it in the measure, and sometimes you're not. So you have to kind of decide.
Okay.
But I'm gonna decide right now, take it out of time.
All right.
Yeah.
Alright, so no time.
The last 2 bars.
And yeah, the whole last.
Yeah, got it.
Ready?
Yep. 1, 2, 3.
Let's try it again. Not that I'm going calm, but let me calm for that, just so you can
Oh,
kind
sure.
of see what
Got
I mean. Hey there.
So, folks, I want you to meet our artist resident for the Summer Jazz Workshop this year. As a result of here last year, if you were here, this is Helen Sung. So why don't you do that tune that you just played? And you know this one, Clayton, I'm pretty sure body and soul.
Yeah, sure.
It's in your own.
Cool. Just before we play, I don't have, I mean, unless you want me to get my chord, I'm not playing with the amp right now, so you just need to be aware of
Yeah.
that.
So good.
Yep.
So Kurt, whenever you're ready.
By that time.
1, yeah.
2, 3, 4. bass key. Oh.
Well, I enjoyed that. You obviously are probably the more advanced players.
Okay. So this is the next group.
Great. I mean, I thought everybody played. I really liked your sound. Everybody had a good sound on their instrument, and you were playing good language. I think what I would encourage you guys, and I mean, I spoke about this with every ensemble, is just not getting away from the music as soon as you can, because everybody is like this, and then you're not really listening to each other, because that, I think, is when the next level playing starts happening. Because jazz, I'm sorry, can you look at me? Thanks. Jazz is a communal music, and I talked a little bit about the history. I'm sure you guys, are you guys in high school?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how much of the history of jazz they teach you, but you know the roots of music come from people that were enslaved, who were silenced, and so when they were finally given some measure of freedom and allowed to express themselves artistically, it's not surprising that they did so in a way that wanted everybody to have a chance to speak their piece, so to speak, their solo. And also just very communal. That's something that I really am always learning for myself, because I come from a classical background, which is totally different. And just the reminder that your performance really depends on you working together well. And as in life, it's true music. The better you listen, the better you hear, the chances are you're going to work with people a lot better. And jazz is really an ongoing conversation, musical conversation. Instead of using words, you're using notes and rhythms. And so, Curtis, right? What's your name?
Clayton.
Clayton, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Clayton was doing something interesting during the solos. Did anybody peep that out? What was he doing?
He was starting to walk the bass a little bit.
Say that again?
He was starting to walk the bass a little bit.
Okay, but there was something he was doing that you guys should have impacted. So basically, what I'm saying in terms of when we listen to each other, what he plays should impact what you play. What you play should impact. I mean, it's an ongoing thing, and it's hard. This is again something that I am still working on and will work on forever, because we have to basically develop the ability to play and listen at the same time. That's hard.
I heard him catch it actually.
I think, I was gonna say, during the solo, like instead of just doing half notes, he started to accent different beats, kind of based on what they were playing,
Okay, yes, but the basses should normally do that anyway. So this
Okay.
is something out of the ordinary. Anybody?
He was pedaling.
Yes, he was
Oh.
pedaling.
Yeah.
And you start. Was that from Coltrane? That
Yeah.
So if you're
Yeah.
gonna do that, you were like apologetically, like you should because I want you guys to hear this. It should change how you're soloing, right? Because pedaling. Let's play the. Can you play the pedal over the melody and see
Yeah,
how
sure.
different it sounds? Play the melody. 1, 2, or 1. Play the melody. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you guys hear that harmonic substitution there too? Okay, now play the melody with the regular changes.
Yeah.
See if it feels different. 1, 2. So listen to that. Okay. Do you know the melody? Do you guys have you played this song before? Or is this the first time?
First time.
Okay. Then I won't make you turn the stands around. 1, 2, 3. Listen. Okay, but as you're playing the melody, listen to the bass and how different a vibe is. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, nice.
I said it and you caught it because he heard my substitution.
Yeah.
So how would you describe the difference between the two, the feeling?
The first or second version? Like, well, which one was
I
it?
think definitely the second. I feel like was much more relaxed.
Okay, good, because
Yeah.
that's great, because what a pedal does is he's basically insisting on a single bass note. To me, it's suspended. I don't know how much theory you guys have had. You know, it's like a suspended, I don't know, what's the term? Like,
Well, it is a suspension, and it is a way that it kind of increases the ambiguity of the tune, and
But it builds
build,
anticipation.
yeah.
Because a suspension, something suspended, it has to be resolved eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what a pedal does. So that, when you hear something like that, it should really impact your note choices and what you're doing as a soloist. So just encourage you guys to be listening. You know, the bass is so important because he lays the foundation, the harmonic foundation for everything. And so, you know, when you play a pedal, to me, drums play differently too, right? I mean, what the other stuff you said that you heard, that's great, that's important, that's all part of it. But playing a pedal like that, because he's literally changing the bass note of the piece. Let's do it again. Can we do the A? Oh, sorry.
Like, how does that change what we play? So like, what physically do we do different?
You start playing. Can we try? Can I show you what I mean?
This actually can free you up. Okay, sometimes.
Because when you're listening, because when he's playing all the regular bass notes, as a solo, it sounds better if you're making all those changes. Can we try that? Play the first time with the regular changes, and then we'll do the suspension.
Okay.
Take a listen. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. No. I'm solo. Basically, suspend your A sus, which means suspended fourth. It's just one chord, one. I thought you were gonna go north, but he kept going, so I was like, okay, let's do it some more. This time. So the first A section, you want to play the changes. And second time you play through the A section, you're thinking A flat sus.
Okay.
Okay.
And you want me to play the normal changes first time, and second I play the
Yes. So he does that. Okay.
Got it.
And let's each try that. Is that cool? We won't go to the bridge for now. Although the bridge is beautiful too, but okay. So we're gonna keep just everybody gets 2 A sections. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. 1, 2, 3, 4. between
When
the
he was
course.
doing suspended.
Yeah, you were like doing more like suspended kind of sound, which is great, awesome. So what, anybody want to share, like, did you feel a difference between improvising over the changes and improvising over the pedal, and how did you approach it?
It's pushing the solo in double time a little bit more than normal
For which one?
when it's suspended.
So you were trying more double time figures, and why do you think you did that?
Because the suspense feeling gave it like anticipation to go into double time.
Okay, and he was also kind of suggesting in the drums too, maybe you consciously didn't notice that, but you were responding to that. Good, awesome.
It let me listen a lot easier. I feel like when he was playing the changes, I had to focus on the changes and like what I was actually playing. But like when he was playing one note, I could be like, oh, he's playing this, and I could like actually follow what they're doing instead of like having too much to look at. You know?
May I add actually?
Sure.
Yeah. The thing I noticed too, like especially if you listen to like John Coltrane do this song, and I can point you out to which record that's from. The way he solos over that, instead of playing, instead of being kind of limited to the changes, is like, he can either play the changes or he can play sounds that are familiar with like an A-flat sus sound, and play language that's like really like over that chord more. So you have the freedom to kind of also play really like, whatever you feel like, whether you want to play the changes or play like more of like kind of a static sound and really build upon that like A-flat pedal point.
Yeah, you don't have to think about one chord.
Yeah, I noticed, you noticed, you said freedom, and I was thinking, and you've talked about getting out of the music, and that's liberating. And I noticed something really interesting with you guys.
when he started playing the pedal, you started looking at him. That made a huge difference. I mean, eye contact is a big thing, you know, with human beings. That's one of the first things that little babies do with their mothers, you know. I mean, they know their mothers. They look right at their mother's eyes, and that's a huge bonding thing. It's a huge human connection. And so when you got out of that music, both of you guys looked over him, and the music just, it liberated you. You were free in some ways. Fascinating.
Yeah, that's something I think sometimes students forget, to look at each other on stage. Just this very simple thing, you know? Yeah, thank you. Dr. Newman, anybody else want to share something?
I find it almost, I don't want to say intimidating, but the freedom of that pedal, especially if you're a choral instrument, I think it's like, I don't want to necessarily play the changes. I can do the sus, but I feel like there's maybe other options that are available over that note. And for me personally, I'm still trying to work on what to do over a pedal. I think the freedom is huge.
It can be intimidating, right? You have too many choices. What do I do? You know? So the important thing is to try something. You wanted to say something like that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, when you look at the suspended part, I felt like the need to like stop playing the straight, just, you know, pattern and start like accenting off beats and kind of making it a little more like suspenseful and, you know, not as straightforward.
And that's what we were talking about in our rhythm section class
Yeah.
when we showed you the John Coltrane quartet playing. You know, that's not. I'm not going to simplify it by saying, "Oh, that's all it is," but it's just like that communication,
It's a starting
adapting.
point.
Yeah, it's a starting
Right.
point. Accenting different beats when you hear the different rhythm. You know?
Yeah.
And also the fun is like, when is like you feel together, when are we going to resolve it together? Because when I played it with him, I thought he was going to resolve at when you did the substitution E minor day, but he kept going, like, oh, okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
So that's like when you're making music together, that's the awesome thing about jazz, you know? So you guys have a lot together. Keep listening to this music. This is something I've said with every group, like this music, you have to listen to it in order to get to it, you know? But now, you know, you guys listen to each other. I just know that everything that goes on stage needs to impact what you're doing too. It's not an easy thing. That's why we get paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
I know, I'm just kidding. But thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did John show you that?
Yeah, I talked to John.
This is the first time he's actually doing like a brush.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
yesterday he was doing it halftime. It wasn't giving, but this is the first time we're hearing it.
Yay.
It's like making soup.
That's exactly what he said.
Stir the soup.
Stir the soup.
You're going to school for music next year or something, right? Or this after this?
Well, I was saying,
Yeah,
Clayton,
I'm
we're
going to
gonna.
be a freshman in college.
Okay, cool. Where are you going?
Berkeley.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Thanks.
man.
Thanks.
You have a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Clayton is a
Let's
roving
thank
bass player.
Clayton for being
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. It's all good. I just stole some PC and
That was it. That was good.
Cool.
Very.
Like, you just train your ear to like hear what other people are doing.
Yeah, you're lucky she didn't make you guys do the bridge with the Coltrane changes.
Like, cause I was just guessing half the time what you were doing, and like hoping it worked.
You guys should definitely check out that version.
What is
So-
But I can hear him playing the A flat.
and you play like
right?
an A
He's
flat.
playing like that. He's playing something. Like I have no idea what he's doing.
How often are you able to get to like a piano?
I can get to the piano all the time.
Do you have one in Michigan?
I don't live in Michigan.
Oh, you were just there.
Yeah, I was at another camp.
Oh, cool. But you were in Jersey.
Yeah.
If you have a piano at your spot, what you can do is, do you ever like just practice like different types of chords?
On piano? No.
That would be a big thing, I would say. Like,
Just hearing
if you
them.
have to think of like the main chords that you see in jazz, like, can you name as many as you can think of? Not keys, like not E, but like,
Yeah.
like go ahead and see if you can.
Like minor, minor 7.
Yeah, so we'll use 7. Yeah, so.
Oh, major 7. Okay.
So
So minor.
Just more, see, it's not only harmonic, it's also rhythm, right? And so this is why we go back to practicing for technique, practicing for music. You know, if you're working this out technically, you would sit and figure out. Well, let me back it up. Everybody has rhythmic figures that are in your vocabulary that you're relying on a lot more than you think. Okay? You like to play quarter notes sometimes. I hear you da 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 da. That's one of the things that you like to do. But you could be going da 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 da. You know? You start in the same place at the bar, like every 4 bars. You start in the same place. And that's, you know, and none of this is being critical. This is just, you know, we all have to, and that's a weird thing about especially this form of music, is we all put ourselves under a microscope. We need to do that, you know. What am I feeling? What am I hearing? You know, there's a couple of licks that I play that I wish I could get rid of, and they're just always there, you know. And a lot of them they're there for a purpose, because I'm trying to work my way up the neck of the bass, and sometimes it's easy to go, then going, you know. And I'm like, well, why don't you just go like a saxophone player? Well, it's not that easy to do it on the bass. But that's just for example. So there's things that we all do. You gotta get to know yourself. Okay? What is it that I'm relying? What can I change? What note are you starting your improvisation on? Are you starting on the third? You starting on the? But what's your preference? Do you know?
I usually start on the. I mean, for this song, I think I started on the F sharp, which is my.
Which is
my.
E.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you start. So don't do that.
Wait, no. I mean, like I started on the root. My bad.
Yeah. Don't do that. The root and the fifth, get rid of it. That's not. And you know, for bass players, that's where we live. We got to play the root. We got to play the fifth. So for me, when I was going through something I used to do, before the age of iPads, I had sheet music. I would write in guide tones. 9. If it's a minor 7 chord, I look at starting on the 9, or the 3rd, or 6. Anything to break the habit. And if it would play me an E minor chord and play the F sharp on top. Play the F sharp. Listen. Now play an E. Play the quilting again. But now play it just with the E. No F sharp. Nothing there. The F sharp. Play a G. That's better than the root. 6. Play the 6. Forget about the root, man. So this is a good example of you know. So that's where you start. So now, you know, when you're practicing it, say, okay, I'm not going to start. I'm not going to do that. You know, see what and the best thing to do is sit down at the piano, the loud pedal, play the chord, and then blow over that each change at a time, and find out what works best for you. You know, I can tell you I think somebody told me, like Bill Evans. He was hanging out with Bill Evans, and Bill Evans was great he would always do that. He would learn all the guide tones, all the $1 million notes over that change.
Yeah, he would figure out all of his voicing beforehand.
Well, he would look at he would you know, that was one of the things he did, was just sit down and that's why he played such incredible harmony all the time, because he really looked at the substance of the harmony, you know. So like if you have a dominant 7 chord, Ryan, what note do you play when somebody's got a dominant 7 chord in front of you?
Do I like
What would be your go-to note?
the 7? Well,
Okay.
I mean sometimes the root, but it's
Yes.
like that area. I always.
Yeah, if it's dominant 7 chord, I'm looking for the 6.
Yeah.
Play a C dominant 7 chord with an A. Just play the A so it's out. Play a different octave above.
Okay.
No, just the A. Just the A. Play the chord in this hand. That's what I'm saying. Hear that sound?
Yeah.
So like I would write that out. I'd write those tones over every chord, and then I would practice like All the Things You Are. Was one of the tunes that I did that on. I remember because like, oh yeah, these are great notes. You know. So this is kind of what I want you guys. You got to do some woodshedding tonight. You know. Get inside, because as easy as this United is, sometimes when everything's the same kind of sound, it's harder to blow on than if you got a bunch of changes, you know, and that's playing modally. So, but that's not going to work on 4, right? So like that's the thing with bebop and then stuff that's more modal. I find, like, for me, bebop is easy. It took me a while to really understand what I was hearing when I was playing more modal tunes. Okay, so what do we have? What else do we have?
I think it's night after. The night has 1,000 on it.
Okay, and let's do 4 though, first. Yeah, I know. Is there anything solo-wise you guys would like to work on? Changes, different
4.
changes? 4?
Yeah, I'm having trouble with that.
Okay. So why don't we take, like, I'll do 10 minutes with you, and then we'll do 10 minutes, and 10 minutes, and 10 minutes, and then we'll go back and do the tunes, and we'll cement who's playing on what. We may have to cut a little bit. You know. All right. So you kids can take off for 10 minutes. Don't go far. Make sure it's, so I want you back at 2:51.
I'll be back 10 minutes before that.
And if you see James out there, tell him what we're doing. Okay, so what is it that, where are you having problems, issues?
I'm not quite sure. I just feel like my solos weren't as strong on 4.
Or what's strung together, or?
Yeah, I guess, like, trouble coming up with ideas.
Man, I think honestly, Nick, I think out of everybody, I think you have the most sensible musical ideas. So don't get hard on yourself. So let me hear you play. You play by yourself. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh wait, that's 3 bell.
So let's start slower. 1. You don't have to play so many 8s on it. Like, damn throat. B, play the chord for me. B da ba do boo da ba do dee da do dee da ba do ba do ba do boo do boo dee do dee dee da ba do do da boo do do da do ba dee boo dee do da. So like. so just make up like a simple melody. So wait a minute. What chord is that?
G minor 7.
So what note were you starting on?
Started on the 9, but it doesn't really. I don't think that really works in the.
No, it does. It does.
It does?
Yeah. Sensibility about where you're going. There's a couple of notes that you and it's cool because you're experimenting that aren't as strong as the other notes. You know, that are maybe a little more dissonant.
Yeah.
Try playing like a line make up a melody. You don't have to necessarily play it in time. Like just you could start on the 6. You're playing an E flat. What is that? An E flat major 7?
Yeah.
So like, play the chord. Now go to the minor. Keep going. I'm just building little things. So try that. Start use what I'm playing. I started on the 3rd. Go to the minor. Okay. Now keep. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So
I'm just gonna have to work at it slowly.
Yeah, work at it slowly.
Okay.
But you're finding really strong melodic notes, and it's kind of cool to make it stay on da ba da da ba da dee doo.
Just want to make sure everyone's name spelled correctly. But you think Nicholas, we're good with you?
Yeah.
All right.
The other guy should be in the hallway. We're doing sectionals right now.
All right, cool.
So that's a really strong idea. I think I said this. I used to write like target notes over the chord changes. Like I'd write the G, then F sharp, and then maybe F, and then maybe E flat. I don't know. You just create these lines that go down. And then where does it go? A flat. It's hard for me to play piano from there. Yeah, so he goes to the G minor thing. Da, 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 da. You can stay there for the B flat. Da, 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 da. I mean, it's there. You kind of put a puzzle together when you get through, when you're having a hard time getting through some 2/5s. There's a note that works through the 2/5. Like the F sharp B. What note would work for getting through that? F sharp minor to the B7.
A.
Yeah. Or C sharp. Right, C sharp.
Yeah.
Just played like the C sharp. Played F sharp minor to B. Yeah. So you don't have to play a lot of notes necessarily. You know, like this is where practicing for technique and practicing for music comes in. You build the technique to play the music you want to play, but when you sit down to play the music, just use whatever's available. You know, and it's good to push yourself. You know, like I don't think in any part of my career, I didn't take a chance and play at least 15 notes I didn't like. I mean, out of all the recordings, I've done close to 200 recordings. I think there's maybe 3 bass solos that are okay. The rest of them should be thrown in the garbage. You know, because you're always looking for the notes. And sing. Can you sing what you want to play?
Sometimes I try to practice that in the practice rooms.
Yeah. I really would like to see you get a piano teacher, a jazz piano teacher that can help you with voicings and help you get just a little more handle on your improvisation. You know, if you're interested in doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, you live in Teaneck, you said?
Ridgefield Park. It's right next to
Ridgefield Park, yeah. I used to have a girlfriend that lived in Ridgefield
Yeah.
a long time ago, so I know this. It's in that area there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of piano players up that way, especially in Teaneck.
Yeah, I have a teacher at school that plays, I guess, jazz fusion.
Oh yeah.
So he tries to help me sometimes.
Well, you know, you can find a guy that, you know, a teacher that just go and maybe do a lesson or two once a month or twice a month. You know, as your schedule allows.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, what, are you going to be a senior in high school or junior?
Maybe a junior.
Yeah, so you'll have plenty to do at school. It's not like you got tons of time to burn, right?
Yeah.
All right, I hope that helped a little bit.
Yeah, it did. Thank you.
Okay, send Ryan in. He didn't really have any idea, but I remember they had all the downbeats from 1961 to like 70, and I took them all home. Little by little, I'd walk out every day with 10 of them, you know. And then I had a collage on the wall in my bedroom of all the great jazz musicians, which is, matter of fact, that's something I brought with me. I thought you guys might be interested to see this book. My wife got it for me on Amazon, and it's really kind of cool because it has all kinds of great interviews going back to like when Downbeat started, you know, to like the very hip, you know, Charles Brown,
What's it called?
Joni Mitchell. It's called The Great
Jazz Interviews.
It's really great to read this stuff, you know. When I was coming up, man, I got a lot of information out from Downbeat, you know. So you're taking your symbols, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we'll just do some. Okay, first, those are our 4 tunes. I'm going to submit them.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Is there a chance that somebody else could have chosen like one of them?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. We're gonna do it better than anybody else, so they can go right ahead.
None of those kids have to.
They can go ahead and play whatever they want, man. They're gonna
Someone else like
They're not gonna smoke it like we are. They're like,
Can I humbly request that we don't be united with the brushes? I don't know what to do with that.
you're gonna learn what to do.
Oh man, come on.
You were doing fine with it.
I felt I was like on the verge of
Well, you
tears.
go home and listen to some
Sucking
3/4 stuff with, and listen to what the cats are doing.
Alright, fine.
Okay? Let me tell you something, quite honestly, if it sucked, I wouldn't make you do it. But it didn't suck. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I finish playing something and somebody comes up to me and I go, man, that really sounded great, and I'm hanging under my breath, no, it really sucked, man. What were you hearing? What were you hearing, man? Because
Yeah.
I'm really genuinely bummed out, man. I don't know if I'm perceiving wrong or I don't know.
No.
Whatever.
It's normal. You know, I remember Jim Hall, right? Jim Hall, legend. One of the greatest guitar players ever. We get off the bandstand, I'm like, yeah, Jim sounds great. He says, oh man, I'm sorry. I just couldn't play tonight. I'm like, I would like to not play as good as you. Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, and there were times like we got off the bandstand. He's like, I'm sorry, man, I just can't play tonight. I'm like, what is he talking about? And I can tell you that same kind of thing happened with a bunch of other guys. Benny Carter. I mean, Benny Carter's like the cat. I mean, he goes back to the 40s. You know, he was 90 when I worked with him. And he's, oh man, he's like, I guess I can't play tonight, man. I'm like, yeah. Let me just. John's gonna play with us. There's no cymbals here, so just letting you know that. So they're gonna come in 10 minutes. John D4. Yeah, he plays in my band. When I used to have a band. I don't play that
But
much.
he's coming with Helen Sung?
Yeah. Classical style, you know.
Hey,
Hey,
Helen, did she come in already?
not yet, but we just lost our drummer.
You lost your drummer.
He had a gig.
No.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
He had a gig. Well, I hope he's cutting you guys in on some change.
Yeah, well,
Man.
yeah, how about that?
Well, maybe John could play drums.
Yeah, I just texted John, and I said, bring your cymbals. He may not even have cymbals.
And he didn't tell you that he had to split?
He just reminded me, I forgot.
Yeah.
And that, well, I didn't know when Helen was coming. I should have
Yeah,
let John know.
Right. It's always Thursday as well. All right.
All right.
Well, see you in a minute.
Okay. I'm gonna take a minute to sit.
How do you feel about sticking like other standards and even classical stuff in your solos?
Sometimes I'll do a quote. You know, a lot of guys do that. There's some, like the older cats, like when I was playing, they quote something in the middle of their. Yeah, Clark Terry used to do it too. That was like a thing that a lot of guys did, you know. But it, you know, I don't do it on purpose. If it comes to me, that sometimes I put that. What's the name of the tune? Yeah, I mean, it just shit pops into your head, but I don't do it on purpose. Some people do it on purpose for the entertainer, man.
There's this Johnny Griffin solo on a Monk song. I think it's on Nutty. But in the middle of the song, he starts doing oh, Come on, I just said it in my head.
Yeah, sorry with the fridge on top.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, you know.
But it's gotta be like where you can't tell unless you know it. Like it should fit within the solo, in my opinion.
People do it. I mean, I do it sometimes too. But I never do. I don't know why it happens. I'm like, oh shit, did I do that again? You know. When you're improvising, you know, you want to try to make it as melodic as possible too, and sometimes that's hard. But what I was talking about, you know, with that 2/5, finding notes that work. You can go all the way up, keep going up through those, and those half step. When those half step things happen, I find them hard. You know, it took me a long time to figure out how to get through it without making it sound like it's going up a half step. You know, there was a piano player named Jimmy Rolls, and he would get these lines. He'd be playing a tune, and he'd get these lines going like this. One was going down, one was going up.
Oh wow!
And you're like, okay, where is it gonna? And you would think it's gonna land on the root, and it would just keep going. And he would mess me up every time when he did that, because I wasn't sure. And then one time I heard him playing with Red Mitchell, and Red Mitchell made the same mistake, and I'm like, it's not just me. You know, music is an incredible thing. It really is an incredible thing, and I think how lucky we are that you guys are playing music, man, because some people never understand what it is, you know. They don't have music at that level in their life, you know. And it's really a gift. It really is a gift, you know. No matter what you do with it, even if you become a nuclear scientist, the music will always be there with you. I have a friend that's one of the most renowned surgeons, ear, nose, and throat surgeons in New York City, and he goes, when he's not working, he pulls his trumpet out, and he's terrible. Like it just gives him so much pleasure and relaxing for him to play his trumpet, you know. And I showed him the iReal app so he can play along with the iReal app. You know?
Wow.
And this guy passed 5 years ago. He was one of the most renowned heart surgeons in the world. He came up with this vascular clamps. He developed all this stuff, and he was a drummer. And he's, you know, he wanted to play drums. And, you know, how good of a drummer can he be if he's like a renowned heart surgeon? But he really loved the music, and he played pretty well. I mean, I would work with him.
Probably got steady hands.
What?
Steady hands.
Yeah, but you know, like he just loved the music so much. And there's also a clarinetist who, clarinetist, one of the world's best periodontists. He has an office on 65th and Park Avenue. I mean, really. And he can play the clarinet, man, jazz clarinet, like unbelievable. And he's like this, and he's also like written books, and he teaches periodontal stuff in Italy, and he's like what a Renaissance guy, you know. Really makes me feel insignificant, you know, like this guy can do all that. But that's what music really means a lot to a lot of different people. It's really a lifesaver, I think. And you know, if you go into education or wherever you go, man, it's just passing the word along, taking people to the beautiful stuff that music can bring. You know? So, what should we play when Helen gets here?
Not 4. The night.
We can play. Yeah, I mean, John playing it. It's going to be. Hopefully, he's got cymbals. The drums are such an important part of a group, man. And it's not just ching, 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 ching. You know, it really, you know, makes a difference. It affects everything. You know, I play in a lot of bands without drums, and then I'm in the hot seat.
Yeah.
But, you know, a drummer, if he's playing too loud, or if he's rushing or dragging, you know, we all have to deal with it. The best drummers are guys that really understand the totalness of the music. They can sit and play piano. They can sing you the melodies. They know, they know all the shit.
Yeah, John was actually the one that taught me most of the stuff I know.
Yeah, John is.
Yeah.
John, not only is he a great drummer, he's a good composer.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and he's just like, and he's so non-assuming. He's just like, you know, just a real person. What you see is what you get. Yeah, I chose him to play in my band when I restarted my band about 10 years ago. Because I was playing with him here, he was a grad student. I'm like, man, this cat understands dynamics and musicality. And he plays piano too. So.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of guys you want.
Did you get a chance to print the night?
I can't print it. I'll make a mental note. I'll print it as soon as I get home, and I'll put it in my backpack, which is where it's gotta be. Otherwise, I'll forget.
Were you gonna bring any other tunes?
No, these are the tunes that we're gonna
Yeah.
do. I'm really happy that we got to play a lot of tunes, because I think it's important for us to expose ourselves to a lot of tunes. There's so many tunes out there, and we did a pretty good cross section of tunes. Yeah, like some people do like a lot of arranging. I want to do a lot of arranging. I just want us to go up and play some tunes and swing and have a good time.
Yeah.
There are times when I do a lot of arranging, but when I have a band that's as strong as this one, I don't need to do it. Your cat's got it covered.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So, what would you like to play without the drums?
Stopping at the support?
No, that's not what we're in practice mode. Oh yeah, I got to sit too. So each of you tell me. I'm gonna wait a minute. Okay, so we're doing Scrapple.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing United. Oh, man. Siri does not like it when you try to spell something. Wayne Shorter. Who wrote The Night Has 1,000 Eyes? Somebody look it up.
There's like 3 people.
Yeah.
I can't even read that. Weissman.
Buddy, Jerry.
Do you have it on your iPad?
I think.
Yeah, it says like Weissman.
Oh, it's Jerry Brainin.
Just give me your last names.
Oh, Brainin.
How do you spell it?
Brainin.
And who else?
That's all.
Is nobody
Wait,
else?
is that one for the night?
Yeah.
Oh, I have Weissman.
Does it spell it?
Weisman.
Okay.
I think that says Garrett. Garrett. And then Wayne.
Really? 4
Yeah.
people?
Well, I don't have the first one. That James said.
Okay. And then 4 is Miles.
Yeah, that's
right?
Miles.
It actually is 4 people.
It is?
Yeah.
How does that work?
You have Wiseman, Wayne, and Garrett.
Wiseman,
How do 4 people write a song?
Brain, and Garrett. It's 3. Who's the 4th one? You got Brandon, Wyman, Garrett.
I guess there isn't 4 of them.
Okay. That's fine. Okay, so that's it. I mean, he's been around for like ever. You know, I didn't really, when he told me how old he was, I'm like, Jesus, I thought he was younger. He's in such good shape. Yes, he is a pro, man. I mean, he's been around forever, and he'll give you some knowledge that Alan may not have because Alan hasn't played as much. Alan's still, you know, early in his career. But Bob is like, he'll teach you how to comp. He'll teach you. You know, I've had a couple of students from here, even though we got great teachers here. One of them in particular, I mean, he wasn't quite up to your level, I think, maybe. But he started studying, and he was in my ensemble, and his comping just like, wow, what a difference. It just been like 2 lessons. So, you know, it's really good to find teachers that give you different things, you know. Like, are you studying with anybody right now?
Yes.
Where do you live? I forget.
Richfield Park.
Richfield
It's
Park.
by like Teaneck, if you know.
Yeah, sure. Well, there's a great, you know, Bob Rodriguez?
No.
He lives in Demarest, which isn't that far. It's northern Bergen. He's a really great piano teacher. I mean, he's a great player. He doesn't play that much, but I've done some record dates with him, and I know he's got like a whole teaching studio. His wife teaches classical piano. Who are you studying with?
Just a neighbor. We don't really have lessons that much. I have weekly lessons.
Who's your neighbor? Is he a player? Is he out playing?
He used to, and he played at church for like 20 years. He's really good, but he doesn't. I do classical with him. I don't have like a jazz teacher. I'm actually looking for one.
Well, Bob is one guy who lives up that way. There's a bunch of musicians that live up that way. Alan Farnham and Tomoko Ono, his wife, they both play great piano players. She's from Japan. They live in Tenafly. So that's all up in that area.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to give you some numbers if you want. Okay. Who are you studying with?
I'm studying with, I've studied with a bunch of people, but regularly. Joe Bocamini he's in Whippany. He taught Mark Giuliano, but he himself is not a jazz player. Getting just more general, broad drum set stuff from him. I also studied from Alvesto Garnett, you know him.
Oh, sure.
Jazz drummer. Yeah. He's great.
I'm in Jazz Routines, or was last year, and he like runs the whole thing. Or he's
Really?
him and Mark Gross run most of it. Yeah, he's such a cool guy.
Yeah, I know him from Jazz House.
Oh, sick. Yeah, didn't he go to like the UAE with like them? Did you see
I'm
that?
not sure. I don't know.
Him and like Lanny Mateo and I think Kalen Cardella who went here.
Yeah, Kalen won a bunch of
He's
stuff.
insane. He's so good.
Yeah, it's good. Well, man, that year, the freshman class, like every 3 or 4 years, there's a stellar freshman class with like just tons of really good players, you know, like exceptional. Most years it's just maybe like, you know, 5 or 6 guys. But that year there was just like 2 bass players, 2 piano players that were really great, Kalen, and then Elliot, forget his last name. They're all great players. I mean, that's the thing, you know, I taught at NYU when they started their program in the 80s, and I quit, because it was a lot of reasons I quit. And then I taught upstate for about 4 years. I go up every 2 weeks, 2 weeks a month, you know, that was pretty good. But then I got this gig in '98, and the students, man, and I've been here since '98, and so many great players, and I think we have a really strong program here. They really, you know, get into the shit, and you learn, you really learn, get a deep dive into the harmony and all that. And then just with the people, I mean, we got Jeff Keyser and Mike Ladon, they're 2 of the piano teachers. You know, doesn't get it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's really crazy, yeah. All right. Gigs are coming in. All right. Papa's got to pay his car payment. I just bought a new car, and I'm like, oh shit, I got a car payment again. haven't had a car payment in 10 years. Like, I had to buy, had to do it.
What'd you get?
I bought another Kia. It's like my third Kia. My last one had 120,000 miles. I didn't do anything to it. But it started, you know, the struts were starting to go. I had a scene when the rear brakes froze on.
Oh.
Just before I got into the Lincoln Tunnel.
Oh.
I missed the gig that night. Thank God I didn't get into the Lincoln Tunnel. I've broken down before in the Lincoln Tunnel. It's not a fun thing. Especially at rush hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
When that happened, I had, I was living in Pennsylvania. So I had to get my car towed back to Pennsylvania.
Oh my god, that's unfortunate.
Well, I had the AAA has, like their highest package, they'll tow 100 miles before they charge you.
Oh, wow.
So I was cool. And AAA's worth it, man. I had another time my car broke down in the city, and they have a mechanic that they, you know, cost me a fortune, but the car was fixed the right way. That's the trouble with New York, man. Anything can cost an arm and a leg. I remember the days when I could park on the street in New York and not have to pay for it. I mean, I'm sorry, now you can't park anywhere on the street, on a main street, and not have to pay for it. I lived on 57th and 9th for like, when I married my third wife. And she had this great apartment, but I was just walking around with the bays. I had to pay to park my car. It was $300 a month. And then just the whole scene, I'm just like, I can't take it anymore. We got to get out of here. And there was no space. I mean, I have 3 bases and I'll play
How long were you
piano.
in Chicago again?
I grew up in Chicago.
When did you leave?
I left 79. I moved to New York April 1st.
How old were you?
79. I was 24.
Oh yeah. No problems with New York then, though. Like
New York was a lot rougher then.
But
I
in
grew a
terms of,
beard
like-
and act really grumpy, and people left me alone.
Yeah.
But bringing the bass everywhere, that was.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't have a car for like the first year and a half, and it was just like when it would rain, and they had checker cabs then, so it was you could find a cab to put the bed, but they wouldn't stop. I have to stand on the street with a $10 bill in my hand, try to get somebody to stop, and that didn't know. And then if you had to go to a gig, you know, and you'd be dressed in a suit and tie, and it'd get rained on, and I just like. But then you give up that problem for the problem of having a car in the city, you know.
Oh,
So that's the
yeah.
thing about New York. You decide which problem you want to deal with.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to deal with something. There's no escaping it. So you know, you choose your. You choose what you want to deal with. Yeah, when I first moved to New York, I lived on 23rd Street and 9th Avenue, and I would walk down to the Village with my bass, my amp. And I had a big amp then too, man. I don't know how I did it, but I did. I was young.
Did you ever play Birdland?
Yeah, I played Birdland a bunch of times.
Wow, that's cool.
In Vanguard, like at least 25, 30 times. I used to play in the Monday night band too.
The orchestra?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
back then it was Mel Lewis, Thad Jones.
That was John Riley, right?
Yeah, John's doing it now. I only played it with Mel. I've subbed a couple times with John. And John's there recently, but I don't do it. It's too much work. Even for the younger guys. And plus the music is worn out. And the last time I played it, there were like bars missing because the music is so worn. And the pages weren't, and one time I didn't know I didn't have the last page of the chart.
Oh.
You know, so I'm up there and I'm like, oh shit, now what? But we used to play there once a year with Jim Hall, twice a year.
Yeah.
And I played there with Lee Konitz a bunch of times. And who else? Grady Tate.
Is Lee Konitz still alive?
No,
No,
that was back in the 70s. I mean the 80s. I played there a bunch. Bob Brookmeyer. And I played there was another club I used to play with Stan Getz called Lush Life. It was in the Village. That was a really cool club.
You ever play Ronnie Scott's?
No. Well, all the times I've been to England, it's just been concerts. You know, pretty lucky I've hit all the clubs in New York. But my big period was the 80s and 90s, the beginning of the 2000s. My career I lost my son in a car accident in 2001, and my life just kind of took a pause for a while. And then I got custody of my kids, so I couldn't travel anymore. So I just, my career paused for like 2 years. And then Jim started calling me again. I was working with Jim. And Randy Brecker I used to tour with. So now I'm Grandpa Jazz. And you don't know what happens, man. I used to be the youngest guy in the band all the time in Chicago. I started playing gigs when I was 16. They make me sit in the corner because I played in a bar. You weren't supposed to play in a bar. I remember my first gig in a bar. It was this club, really great kind of jazz club that went from 9:30 till 3:30 in the morning. And there was this like gorgeous waitress, and they're like, "She's gonna take care of you," and I'm like, "Yeah, she can take care of me. I'm fine with that, man." And she'd come over, "All right, Stevie, what do you want?" And I'm like, "You don't know what I want. I think I'll have a Coke, I guess." "Can you kiss me here?" It was terrible being that age and in a club like that. And it was the 70s, so shit was like crazy. But like I had to sit in the corner, on the break. I couldn't go. I mean, if I needed to go to the bathroom, I'd go to the bathroom, but I wasn't allowed anywhere except for they had this corner table set up for me by the exit door. But then I got to play with a lot of great people. Ross-on Roland Kirk came in a bunch of times, would sit in. All the cats, any jazz players that were in Chicago, they'd come there because the club went so late, and they'd sit in and play. Count Basie came in one time and played. It was really cool. Different time. But it was quite an education, being young and working, it was Rush Street in Chicago was kind of like, there were all kinds of clubs and all kinds of weird people. There were a lot of clubs in those days. A lot of great musicians playing. And there was a bar that I'd go to later, after I was 21, that had a jukebox. And the jukebox was all jazz records. I mean, it was like so fucking cool. Gene Ammons, Sonny Rollins, Art Tatum. I mean, that was what was in the jukebox.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty outstanding. Yeah.
The beeping. Have we discovered what the beeping is every once in a while?
Yeah, that's the alarm. There's an alarm.
I see.
When the doors open, it beeps.
Okay.
That's what that is. They built this maybe 15 years ago, 20 years, about 10 years ago, I should say.
What exactly?
Never here.
What do these do?
They're supposed to be absorb the sound.
Absorb it.
Yeah, they have them in the practice rooms too.
Yeah. I just didn't know what they did.
Yeah, they're acoustic. They call it acoustic tiles. They got them on the ceiling too. Where'd James go?